9:43, you're watching and listening to Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie. Very good morning to you.
Yes, good morning. And it's time to go through the papers now. And joining us this morning is political editor of the Sunday Mirror and Sunday People, Nigel Nelson. And he's joined by Claire Pearsall, a former Conservative advisor, husband and wife team. They've been doing a great job this morning. Do I have a papers list? No, I don't.
They agree on everything, don't they? No. Nigel, let's have a look at the Daily Star, should we? A quarter of adults want to be back in lockdown.
Yeah, this is an extraordinary survey. I thought everyone was actually relieved from it, that we were probably the exceptions. We rather enjoyed lockdown.
Yeah, we enjoyed lockdown.
Yeah,
I enjoyed lockdown.
Quite nice, not to have to see people you didn't want to see, that kind of thing. And if you remember, the first lockdown came with really great weather, so you could go work in the garden. Anyway, so apparently a quarter of people feel the same way. What is the interesting thing about the survey is a third of those who were questioned say they would quit their job if bosses made them return to the office rather than work from home, which I think is the most interesting finding, in the sense that what the pandemic did was to change the way that we work. There was a reset about working, and now people can discover they can work at home. We work at home about 2 or 3 days a week without any trouble at all now. And having discovered that, it would be very difficult to go back to a different system. I mean, some people obviously can't work from home. You couldn't do your jobs here from home, really. But I do think that for those who can, it has been a completely liberating experience.
It made lots of things easier, hasn't it? I mean, for people with children especially, they've found childcare a lot easier to work around if they're working from home.
But also, it's just seeing your family.
The work-life balance is...
It is.
So it's not all negative, though?
It's not all negative.
Even if you have to see the family?
Yeah, I mean, there are some payoffs.
That was my idea of a joke. It didn't work.
I was being really cautious, just in case. But we were incredibly lucky, and I think that we have to appreciate that we had outside space, we had enough room to work.
And took the cats for a walk.
Took the cats for a walk, which was brilliant.
I think it's interesting. I can imagine a lot of people preparing to email in right now and going, it was awful, it was a disaster, it was... And it's not to take away from bad experiences, but if it worked for you well, then it's quite nice.
It must have been very lonely.
Yes.
That's
I have many friends who were single and stuck in flats and had the worst time.
And
others who, you know, as you say, were lucky to be in houses with gardens and pets and family around, and it was a lovely experience where life was simple.
And you get on with each other. I mean, we were really fortunate. We didn't fall out. So we may have sort of nitpicked at each other a couple of times, but there was nothing like that. But I know that some families found it really, really difficult all being under the same roof all of the time without any space to escape. So I do get that.
Can we have a look at the Telegraph? Because a tribunal has ruled that it is not racist to call someone a dark horse.
This is right. This is a ruling after a woman sued the Citizens Advice Bureau.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
They used the phrase dark horse in front of her. She is a black woman and took offence. Yeah, didn't realise the story behind it. And actually, it's quite a compliment if somebody says you're a dark horse. You have done something that they hadn't expected. You have exceeded all of their thoughts about you. So it is actually quite a positive thing. But I just think it points to more people being offended by things for a start, and having a list of words that we can or can't use anymore. And I think that there needs to be a little bit of common sense, and I really don't want to ban things. I'm not in favour of that, and I find language really, really interesting. The roots of it are amazing, and the phrase about dark horse can be traced back to the 19th century. And it was in a novel written by Benjamin Disraeli.
Oh.
That's where it comes from.
Is it about horses?
It's not, well, I think there was a basis in a horse. It was in a horse race where the horse that won the race was a dark horse. Nobody expected it to win, and there it came romping home. So that's where it comes from.
And you have a dark horse.
And I do have a dark horse. So I'm very protective of the dark horse.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy when it's like anything which is to do with dark, black, or anything, is sort of associated with skin colour, which it isn't. It's like blackboard.
Especially this is a compliment often.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Well, like you say, with the Roald Dahl books, it was a blackboard, wasn't it? And white as a sheet. I think those are the two things that were...
You can't say white as a sheet.
Couldn't say white as a sheet.
You have a lot of white sheets.
Terrified. I think it's again colour, isn't it? People are so afraid to be offensive. See any use of colour,
and I think that's
problematic.
That's the problem, isn't it? That you have to be so careful. You have to almost double check yourselves. Whereas language and sayings have evolved over time. They've come through novels. They've come through poetry, music, and they've just formed part of our life. And I think you need to celebrate that rather than start banning it.
Yeah. You won't be able to say close but no cigar anymore because it's anti-smoke.
That's right, smoking. Yeah.
Nigel, tomato ketchup. We should all be bringing it home from abroad.
Apparently, yes. So forget about fags and booze on your duty-free. What the Sun has discovered is that people are now bringing home tomato ketchup especially. There's some other things as well that are much cheaper abroad than here. So a big bottle of Heinz ketchup here is about £4. Get it in Turkey and it's £2.50.
It's in space, that one. That's expensive.
Poland is also apparently very cheap too. So when we go on a holiday, I think I'll load Claire's suitcase with ketchup rather
than
clothes
ketchup?
you'd like to bring back.
No, I love ketchup. I think it's fantastic. Would I go into a supermarket abroad to load up on it? No, I don't think I would. I pay absolutely no attention to the things that I have at home. I might have.
You're not one of those people who goes into a supermarket in Spain or whatever and says,
Stocks
"Oh,
up.
they've got that. We have that at home."
No, I'm not. I like to go and have different things. I like to go and have whichever Spanish biscuits, for example, or Turkish biscuits, because it's something I don't have at home, and that's why I'm on holiday.
But would you pack them in the suitcase then and bring them home?
No, you see, we've just had this discussion because a friend of mine will take her own tea bags on holiday with her.
I do that, don't take the mick.
And this is where you always have to be really careful, because whenever you talk about it, people sort of say, "Oh, I do that," or I take my own sachets of coffee, or whatever it is, and I just don't.
I don't.
I'm very particular with my tea, and I would, when I go to Ireland, I do always bring back tea bags and sausages.
You see, but it's interesting, you said take the mick, and now I got told off once for saying that on there because they said it was racist against Irish people.
Oh, really?
Really?
I can't say that.
So you can't say that anymore.
Oh, right.
No, I once had some
Would you bring anything back?
No, I don't do that. No.
You once had some Irish?
I once had some Irish tea, bought some Irish tea, and it was apparently a very well-known brand in Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
Which, thankfully, in terms of Ofcom, I can't remember what it was called, it was the most disgusting tea I've ever had. And apparently, it's a really popular brand. Tasted of dishwater.
But don't you always find if you bring something back that you've had abroad, and there's some alcohol that I've had in different countries, and it tastes fantastic when you're there, you bring it home, you drag it out when your friends come round, and it's just...
There are certain things like,
limoncello.
That was it. That was precisely what I had. Yes.
Australians on Vegemite won't eat Marmite, which I find that, if an Australian comes over here, they tend to actually bring their Vegemite with them.
It's exactly the same.
Oh, it's not.
No,
it's
Marmite's
very
better.
different. It's Marmite's
I'm allowed to say that.
Vegemite's thicker, but
there's a texture to it.
It tastes the same.
No, it's got to be Marmite either way.
Oh.
Absolutely. No, I draw the line on that one.
All right, well, there you go. There you go. Now, let's have a look, Claire, at this council leader who's felled 110 trees and he's had to go. He's faced the chop.
He has indeed faced the chop.
Thank you.
Very good.
I'm here all week.
You could be a tabloid journalist.
I should be,
I followed this story quite a lot. I mean, this makes me a slightly sad individual, but council leader in Plymouth ordered the felling of 110 trees for an environmental redesign in Plymouth.
Right.
It was done at the dead of night.
Right.
Very little
suspicious.
consultation, if any, with people. And it's just one of those ironic things. If you're looking to create biodiversity and more natural surrounding, you don't cut down 110 trees. And the saga has gone on. The group of campaigners managed to get a High Court injunction so that there can be a judicial review. But these trees are gone. He wanted to cut down some more. But Richard Bingley, the leader of Plymouth City Council, is stepping down.
Right.
He has realised that his time is up. He's not going to continue. He's barking up the wrong tree.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, very good.
Look, Claire, Nigel, thank you both very much. It's been really good to see you this morning.
Yeah, really good.
I still want to sit and watch you at the breakfast table. See how you argue things.
Come and join us.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Always welcome.
Join the family.
About time. I've been waiting years for the invite. There you go. Don't go anywhere. We've got all your views on the biggest stories coming up. We've got our People's Poll. And, of course, we've got the weather forecast.